I've been sleeping with Pei Jue for 6 years, but HE's always been incredibly dismissive when he replies to my messages just 3 words hum. Oh, and his friends laugh at me for having unilaterally fawned over him for 6 whole years. Although Pei Jue does put on a cold face and try to defend himself. In my eyes, HE's just putting on an act, unable to let go of his pride. My family made it clear. If I called and get him to commit, it just have to go on a blind date. I decided to end this relationship and arranged a breakup blast with Pei Jue as I was getting dressed. He asked me if I was joking and even reminded me, if you end up getting hooked again, don't forget to buy something next time. I laughed and told him it already deleted all our chat records. This was just a breakup blast after all. Pei Jue kept a poker face and said HED never publicly acknowledged having a girlfriend and doubted that he didn't like women who threw tantrums. I replied, well then, I'm both honored and sorry. At work, my mom called me and asked me to go home for a blind date. In the elevator, I ran into Pei Jue. He overheard what my mom had said and simply asked which floor I was heading to. I replied respectfully, 16, thank you, miss. Hey? Pei Jue is the leader of the Pei Group, and I'm one member of the team of lawyers HES raised. He doesn't like to make our relationship public. At first, I didn't understand why, but later I realized it was just a one-night stand kind of arrangement. In the office, Pei Jue acted affectionately with another woman right in front of me, then asked me to rewrite the merger and acquisition proposal that had already been approved. Reluctantly, I nodded. He said the report was due the day after tomorrow. He also asked me to accompany him to a dinner meeting. When I asked whether it was a formal dinner, he shook his head and said it was for business purposes. At the drinking party, Pei Jue only introduced me as the company's new lawyer. I threw a little tantrum, but he said, I've never publicly mentioned anything about a girlfriend. I got stubborn and retorted, Yuri is pricey as a male model. Well, I can afford to play around. My career was soaring, yet despite my considerable abilities, without Pei Jue's support and encouragement, it'd have been nothing at all. Then at a certain moment, I had an epiphany and decided to let go. At a banquet, I ran into Shen Feng. He wanted to poach me for his team, but Pei Jue showed up and threw a wrench into the works. In the elevator, Pei Jue asked me if I'd taken a fancy to Shen Feng, and then he even took the business card Shen Feng had given me. Late at night, Pei Jue called me, asking me to deliver a set of lingerie. I bought 3 boxes and took them up to his room, but when I got there, I found him together with another woman. I went to the bar to unwind, and the new resident singer on stage caught a little girl's furtive glance. A woman invited me for a drink and asked me what kind of man I found attractive. I said someone like Pei Jue. She laughed and said Pei Jue was the very best among playboys. The resident singer gave me a doll, and the perk was a sweet kiss. I refused to kiss him, but he still planted a kiss on the back of my hand. The woman said she was Pei Jue's cousin, and was giving me a ride home along the way. Pei Jue saw Pei Jue off, leaving only the 2 of us in the car. He asked me to sit in the passenger seat and threatened me that if I ever dared to leave, I'd never be welcome back to work at the Pei family's company. He asked me if I'd somehow fallen for him during our time together, and I laughed out loud in annoyance. He froze, as if pondering why HED even bothered to get so involved in the first place. I went to the office to ask for leave and head home for a blind date. Someone else had gotten there ahead of me, Shishiyu. A towering figure in the legal world. He only defends wealthy clients and is revered by many as a highly esteemed guest. My blind date is Shushiyu. He got straight to the point and said he had no intention of getting married. And neither did I. All we were missing was a boyfriend in name only. We clinked glasses and reached a pleasant mutual agreement. Shushiyu, trying to appease his family, asked me to go home with him for dinner. As I looked at the stack of documents Pei Jue had handed me, I felt quite perplexed. Shushiyu told me that Peace legal team was now led by him. He gave me some guidance on my plan, and then I made an appointment to have a drink with my best friend, Bai Keon. Bai Keon asked me if it was true that I'd really broken up with Pei Jue. I said yes, we'd broken up, She thought it was a pity and said a man like Pei Jue would be perfectly fine just sleeping around as a casual fling. I pinched her cheek and said, "If you brought him home, it'd just be too dirty." Suddenly, I became interested in Zhu Xiyu and wanted to sleep with him. By Qian asked who it was about to speak, I realized that the next table over is Pei Jue. He grabbed my chin and asked if I thought he was dirty, accusing me of playing him for a fool. I freed myself and said, "When exactly did we ever get together?" In the eyes of others, it's as if I'd been chasing him for 6 years. He sneered, "No, it's actually been me who's been your bed partner for 6 years and now HES dumped me." After that day, Pei Jue never once looked at me directly at the office. And I breathed a sigh of relief. Zhu Xiyu and I finished work around the same time, and he often happened to give me a ride home. I picked a restaurant, took a selfie, and sent it to my mom. Shushi asked me to send him a copy as well. Later on, he started working overtime frequently, and I ended up slacking off during the day and working late into the night. Whenever he passed by my desk, HED helped me solve problems, unlike Pei Jue, who would always tease me with a hint of sarcasm. When I reported to Pei Jue, he asked me if it was because Zhu Xiyu had just broken up with him. I said no, just that I was tired. He asked me whether I wanted a formal relationship. I said no. Then he asked me if I'd slept with Zhu Xiyu. I replied that it was a private matter, and starting to prepare my resignation letter, because Pei Jue is strict with himself but even stricter with others. I don't want to end up neither staying together nor parting amicably. My mom unusually urged me to get married, so I used the excuse of delivering some documents to hang up the phone. In reality, by Qian had gotten drunk, and I went looking for her. In a dead-minus end alley, I ran into some thugs, but Pei Jue suddenly appeared and saved me. He asked me to be his girlfriend, but I told him I was about to get married. He didn't believe me and said he'd kidnap me to make me his. I turned around and walked away, but he caught up with me and said that Zhu Xiyu had deliberately been getting close to me just to show off, nothing more. I found by Qian, and Zhu Xiyu appeared, pulling me behind him. Pei Jue said I was his girlfriend, while Zhu Xiyu claimed I was his fiancé. Pei Jue's expression froze, and Zhu Xiyu took me away by the hand. Zhu Xiyu and I took by Qian home. On the way, I asked him if HED deliberately set his phone's wallpaper to a picture of me and then left it in Pei Jue's office. He admitted it, saying it was all part of his plan to fish for me. I asked him when he planned to haul in the net, and I said tonight. He agreed. I slept with Zhu Xiyu. HES better than Pei Jue. HES service-oriented. I asked him why he only helps wealthy people with their lawsuits, and he said it's because he has a dark heart, though not as dark as mine. Early the next morning, Pei Jue called me and asked me to come to his office. He asked if I hadn't gone home last night. He promoted me to assistant to the director of the legal department, hoping to keep me by his side. I submitted my resignation, saying it was for my own sake. Pei Jue froze, saying, "Apart from him holding me up single-handedly, I've also poured my heart and soul into it." I insisted on leaving. "My resignation has been delayed in approval. It's all due to Pei Jue's doing. But it was Zhu Xiyu who personally intervened to let me go. At the behest of old man Pei himself, Pei Jue often sent messages asking to get back together. It read them and replied randomly, then eventually blocked him. I joined a prestigious firm, and whenever I ran into trouble, she was always there to help me. One time, I asked him if he was some kind of immortal who never aged. He replied that he was 30- years old. Pei Jue pulled up in his supercar right below my building, and when the traffic cop handed him a ticket, he just paid it without a second thought. He'd been stuck in traffic all day, so I headed downstairs and cut through the mess like a sharp knife. He suggested HED take over chasing me, but I told him I'd only ever seen you as a bedmate, and now, even that feeling's gone. When I got home, Zhu Xiyu was cooking in the kitchen, and his temper was really high. I coaxed him, saying that my heart belonged to him alone. Zhu Xiyu invited me to the banquet, and Pei Jue's face was as black as the bottom of a pot. Pei Jue asked me which one was better, and I said they were both fine. She gave me a wicked smile and asked me which one was better in that regard. Reluctantly, I looked over at Jiu. This is a story about a woman's journey of self-awareness. Jiang Mingyue breaks free from 6 years of emotional abuse and indifference at the hands of Pei Jue, realizing that she was merely his bedmate. In the end, she chooses Zhu Shishi, a man who is mature, gentle, and respectful of her. Through the contrast between how these two men treat her, the story vividly portrays the female protagonist's transformation from being a doormat to becoming independent and confident, culminating in a satisfying and heartwarming conclusion.